Welcome guys. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Cassie. Today we're going to have a look at a transition rather than a pose. So we're going to have a look at the transition from downward facing dog to stepping forward to the top of the mat. Now this transition can be super frustrating for a lot of people, and it's a really challenging transition. Although it looks really easy to just simply step the foot forward to the top of the mat, it's actually really challenging, and this can be for many reasons. It can be to do with strength, flexibility, mobility, maybe sometimes just not understanding the technique and what our body is supposed to do. And sometimes it has to do with the proportion of our body. For example, if you have longer legs, longer torso compared to shorter arms, this transition is going to be extra challenging for you. But we have to work with what we've got. All of our bodies are amazing, and we can make this transition accessible for everybody. So let's start off by having a look at what the transition is that I'm talking about. So I'm talking about the transition from downward facing dog to stepping forward to the top of the mat. Now, what I'd like you to think about before we look any further at the transition is to make this transition a full body experience, rather than just thinking about swinging the leg in the air and then somehow stepping it in between the hands. Okay, so really think full body experience. Now let's have a look at what is really common for a lot of people. So you come into your downward facing dog, you inhale, raise the leg up, and then you exhale, you step it through, and it kind of ends up halfway up the mat. Okay, and then from here, we have to take hold of the leg and help it forward till we come into that lunge position. Okay, and sometimes you may even find that you're here and you have to pop the opposite knee down, and then you have to help the foot forward and then come into your lunge. Okay, now all of these transitions are totally fine. If this is your transition, no problem. You might work with this transition for your entire yoga practice. But if this is something that you want to progress, let's have a look at the technique and how we can start to progress this further. So, we're going to have a look using 2 blocks to start with. So taking 2 blocks and placing them onto the floor, shoulder distance apart, so that you can come into downward facing dog with your hands on the blocks. So this just helps me create a little bit of extra space between myself and the floor. So I come back up into downward facing dog. And then from here, I inhale to lift my leg up. From here, I'm going to use my hamstring to pull my, what's this thing called hanging on the end of my leg? My foot, pull my heel towards my buttocks, shortening the gap between my calf muscle and my thigh, pointing my toes. I come up onto the ball of the left foot, and then I start to engage the front body as I draw my knee in towards my chest. So engaging my hip flexors, my pelvic floor and my lower belly to really create this tight package of the knee to the chest. I start to pitch my shoulders forward so that the shoulders come over the plane of the wrist, and think about that cat back, that hollow front body as I spread my shoulder blades apart and push the floor away from me, creating as much space as I can between myself and the floor. And then from here, I step the foot in between the hands. Okay, so whole body experience. Engaging the front body and the back body. So engaging the hamstring to pull the heel in towards the body, shortening the gap between my calf muscle and my thigh. Engaging the hip flexors, the pelvic floor, the lower belly, to draw that knee as far as I can in towards the chest. Engaging all the muscles of my back body, spreading my shoulder blades apart, hollowing out the chest, so engaging the chest, the pec muscles, okay, and creating lots of space between the floor and myself so that I have that room to get the foot through. Once you start to feel comfortable here and you understand the technique, then you can start to get rid of the blocks. So you can pop the blocks to the side. Now, a couple of other little hints that you can try with this one is you pop the blocks to the side, you come back into downward facing dog, and you still might not have that space between yourself and the floor yet. So what you can do to step forward is inhale, lift the leg up. Remember, whole body experience, draw the knee in towards the chest, lift the right hand out the way completely. Okay, so get that extra space by removing the hand and then just place the hand back down. Okay, so here and here. Okay, so you've got that extra space. If this is quite easy for you and you don't require as much space, but still a little bit of extra space, you could come into cupcake fingers or spider fingers of the right hand. So inhale, lift up, create that spider finger or that cupcake hand, and then step the foot through. Okay, so, and wing the elbow out to the side a little bit. Okay, so here, wing the elbow out, come up onto the fingertips. Okay, and then eventually from there, the hand stays down. So you're here, and then you step it through. I actually required a little bit of lift through my palm then as well. Okay, so just listen to your body as you step through. Get that extra space where you can get it. And just remember whole body experience. Be mindful through the practice. And remember, don't get frustrated. It's just a transition. No big deal. It's a transition. A moment in time that's going to pass by very, very quickly. So get practicing. Start with the blocks and then slowly progress your way further if this is what you choose to do. If you're just stepping halfway up the mat and you're helping the foot forward, no problem either. Continue here and just make it a whole body experience that is mindful movement. Anyway guys, the sun is shining, so I'm going to get out and enjoy some sunshine today. I hope you can too. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.